Today, I will be telling you the other version of Bawang Putih Bawang Merah, and that is the story of Bawang Putih Bawang Merah and the magic pumpkin. Come join me. Hi everyone, my name is Heidi. I'm a Malaysian author and welcome back. If you've been following this channel, you know that I've been doing a deep dive into the themes coming out of the story of Bawang Putih Bawang Merah. If you haven't seen that episode yet, check it out. I'll put a link down below. I did mention that there was another version of Bawang Putih Bawang Merah, and today, finally, I'm going to tell you that version. Now, this story is also confusingly called Bawang Putih Bawang Merah, so I decided to add the subtitle of The Magic Pumpkin. The other Bawang Putih Bawang Merah story, I've subtitled it The Magic Swing. So that's how you tell the difference. Let's listen to the story. Once upon a time, there was a girl called Bawang Putih who lived quite happily with her mother and father. Unfortunately, one day her mother passed away. Her father was sad, he was distraught. He decided that he should find another wife so that Bawang Putih could at least have a mother. So Bawang Putih's father married a widow who had her own daughter called Bawang Merah. Now, both these girls, Bawang Putih and Bawang Merah, were beautiful, but whereas Bawang Putih was kind and gentle and good-hearted and helpful, Bawang Merah was the exact opposite. She was lazy, she was vain, she was greedy. The family lived together in a house by the river, and the father managed to provide for all the women in his family. However, the stepmother and her daughter had quite a lavish lifestyle and were constantly buying some pretty thing or another. Unfortunately, one day, the father fell ill and passed away, and the stepmother found that she was now in charge of not just one daughter, but two daughters. She was really annoyed because she had to go back to work and earn a living. She had to dismiss all their servants, and because she was so resentful and she hated Bawang Putih, she ordered Bawang Putih to become their servant. Now, Bawang Putih was a good girl and she loved her family, so she didn't have any problem with helping out around the house. So from dawn to dusk, Bawang Putih was up early. She cooked breakfast, she cleaned the house, she washed the clothes, she cared for the animals that they had, and tended to the vegetable garden, whilst her stepsister Bawang Merah was lazy and she didn't want to lift a finger to help at all. One day, Bawang Putih was washing clothes at the river when her stepmother's best sarong batik fell into the river. Bawang Putih followed the batik as it made its way down to the river until it finally flowed into a mouth of a cave. At the entrance of the cave stood an old woman who bent down to pick up the sarong. "Is this yours, my child?" said the old woman. Bawang Putih said, "Thank you, Nenek. Yes, this belongs to my stepmother." Nenek said to Bawang Putih, "Come and help me with some chores. Once you finish, I will give you the batik back and I will also give you a little present." So Bawang Putih agreed. She followed Nenek back to Nenek's house. When they arrived at Nenek's house, she saw that there was a field full of delicious, ripe pumpkins. Bawang Putih lost no time in helping Nenek with her chores. She swept the floor, she cleaned the windows, she took out the clothes to dry. She even steamed some nice pumpkin for Nenek and dusted it with a little grated coconut and sugar. Nenek was very happy with Bawang Putih. She said to Bawang Putih, "Here is your stepmother's sarong batik, and as a reward, you can choose one of those two pumpkins." Bawang Putih looked at the pumpkins. One was a small pumpkin and the other was a huge pumpkin. Bawang Putih decided that she would take the small pumpkin because she knew that it would have a sweeter flesh, and also she wasn't greedy. So she thanked Nenek and went home. Now, when she got home, she was scolded by stepmother for being so late. And Bawang Putih tried to explain that she had been out helping Nenek, and she offered the pumpkin to the stepmother. Stepmother was so angry that she grabbed the pumpkin and smashed it on the floor. The pumpkin smashed open, and to their amazement, they found treasure spilling out from the belly of the pumpkin. There were golden coins, rubies, emeralds, diamonds. There was so much treasure that Bawang Putih wondered how it had all fit into that tiny pumpkin. "Where did you get these treasures?" asked Bawang Merah, her eyes wide with greed. Once again, Bawang Putih told her story of how she met the old lady and how in return for doing some chores at her house, she was rewarded with the pumpkin. The next day, the stepmother told Bawang Merah that she had to copy exactly what Bawang Putih had done. So Bawang Merah took some washing to the river, but she didn't bother to wash the clothes. She simply threw in her mother's batik and followed it as it flowed down the river to the mouth of the cave. And as predicted, she found the old woman there. The old woman picked up the batik and she asked Bawang Merah, "Does this belong to you?" Bawang Merah said yes. And the old lady said, "Why don't you come home and help me with some chores? I will return the batik to you after you finish and give you a little gift." And Bawang Merah said, "Very well, I will follow you." So they went home. And Bawang Merah saw that there were so many pumpkins in the field and she got really excited. She couldn't wait to get her treasure. Nenek asked Bawang Merah to sweep the floor, and reluctantly Bawang Merah took the broom and started sweeping, but she did it in a half-hearted way. She wasn't used to working, and after a while her arms got tired. So she simply threw away the broom and she said to Nenek, "Nenek, I've done enough. Why don't you just give me my reward now? I want to go home." So Nenek looked at Bawang Merah for the longest time. And then she said, "Very well. Here is your mother's batik. And in return, you can choose one of those two pumpkins." And Bawang Merah saw that there were two pumpkins again, the small one and the big one. So can you guess which pumpkin Bawang Merah chose? Of course, she chose the big pumpkin because she was greedy. So she grabbed the pumpkin. She didn't even say thank you to Nenek and she ran home. When she got home, she called out to her mother, who came out with a huge parang, and she split open the big pumpkin. But instead of treasure, the pumpkin contained hundreds and hundreds of snakes. Bawang Merah and stepmother screamed, but it was too late because the snakes simply covered them up and devoured the two greedy women. And that was the end of Bawang Merah and the stepmother. The end. As you can tell from the story, this version has the same core characters as the other version of Bawang Putih Bawang Merah. So there is Bawang Putih, the good sister, Bawang Merah, the bad sister, and the stepmother. The person that's absent from this version is, of course, Bawang Putih's dead mother. Instead, we get this old woman, this Nenek. Nenek in Malay means grandmother. And she seems to have the power to bestow rewards and punishment to the two sisters. So this particular story falls under the category of tales of good deeds and bad deeds. Some people call these types of stories the good sister, bad sister story, or the good brother, bad brother story. And there are numerous stories like this from around the world, such as the Grimm's tale of the three little men in the woods, the Thai story of Phikul, Thong, which I will tell you in a few weeks, and also the gift of the winter melon from Sabah, which I will also tell you about soon. In all these kind of stories, there are two characters who are faced with a test, which is usually set by an older woman or man. So these tests will reveal whether the person is good or bad, whether their intentions are genuine or fake, and ultimately whether that person in question is worthy of being rewarded for their good deeds or punished for their bad deeds. Obviously, Bawang Putih, who is more willing to help the old woman with the chores around the house and who's not greedy when choosing the small pumpkin, was rewarded with treasures. Bawang Merah, on the other hand, was not genuine in her intention to help the old lady, who was rude and greedy, was punished. So it's pretty clear that these kind of folk tales reflect desirable social values. So being kind and helpful to those in need, not being greedy, and having a genuine desire to help. These kind of stories have a clear didactic element. That means it attempts to teach a particular moral lesson. And that is quite a common theme in fairy tales and folk tales. As we discussed before, these stories began as oral stories. So you can just imagine an older person, a parent or a teacher, someone in authority, using these stories to basically encourage good behavior in young people, in children. Whether or not we agree with these stories being used to kind of like brainwash children into good behavior, there's no denying the fact that adults have used these stories for this specific purpose. So these types of exemplary stories were often told to children to encourage good behavior. So what did you think of this story? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please do leave a comment down below. If you like this video and my other videos, please do like and subscribe to my channel. Please do share this channel with your friends and family and help me in my mission to spread these Nusantara fairy tales out there. So that's the end of this episode, but don't go just yet. If you want to listen to the other version of Bawang Putih Bawang Merah, I've linked it down below. Take care and I'll see you in the next episode.